Hey everybody, Rhadamant here. Thank you for tuning in to Oxygen Not Included Volcanea, episode 17, Oil and Germs. Other skills to think about. I am giving Dead Dodo the ability to go through abyssalite, diamond, obsidian, that kind of stuff. So that Glitch is not the only one that can do this excavation, effectively doubling my speed, I hope. Wow, this is vacuum? Oh, because there's liquid here, yeah. Well, that's nice. I'm getting out of the heat. Look at his tiny muscles. Yeah, I don't want any of them. Don't even want the slickster. So ask again in 3 days. Something very 70s about this? Yeah. A little retro, right? I like it. I really wish whatever those alerts were about, that they, like, would warn me a little bit longer. Because there's not enough time to figure out what they're warning me about, and then they disappear. I guess that's fine, it's like problem solved. It's not an issue that I have to address, but I kind of wish they lingered. Alright, you guys suggested some goals, so I'm still searching for oil, but here's some alternative improvements. So what to do next? I can tap the natural gas geyser for power. I can Sebastian, you want me to do geothermal? It's not plausible yet. Add air conditioning? I'm kind of interpreting some of your suggestions because they're like a little bit more vague. Tap the other hydrogen vent. And those are the three. So pick between those three choices. Yeah, the reason why steam is not really all that viable yet is I'm kind of like I haven't even made steel yet. So you can't do steam-based power without steel, and it will take me some time to get metal forging going, which is why I don't think it's a reasonable thing to do quickly. Once I get steel, you know. But the thing is, I'm improving a system, and I don't have steel, so I can't improve a system without the requisite material. Forging steel for the first time would be totally its own goal, right? So it's kind of like saying, oh, build solar, and it's like, there's so many steps before I add solar to this base that, like, we have to vote on those building block steps first, not just jump from never seeing space to going to build solar panels up in space, right? Like, there's an order of progression that needs to be met. Otherwise, it's just, it's a goal that will trump all other goals for, like, 100 next cycles, which is fine, but I'd rather just take projects take about an hour or two instead. That way, there's more input. So nobody is at risk of morale problems at the moment, which is good. This kicks off in 4 cycles. Cutting it close, but I think we're fine. I think I found places to put the oxygen, like outside or in the suit docks and things like that. So that was met. Got some pokey shells over here. and still searches for oil. You guys want me to tap the natural gas geyser for power. All right. I'll add that to my queue. So some concerns. One, the natural gas geyser outgasses hot above the boiling temperature of the liquids I currently have. Why that matters? If we wanted to liquid lock the natural gas into its own area, the natural gas will eventually overheat the water, boiling it off into steam and unliquid locking itself given time. So the evaporation point of different liquids that I have change. Like the evaporation point of the polluted water is a little bit higher than fresh water. Fresh water, of course, is like boiling temperature. Duh. We've got salt water at slightly, well, not that much higher than the fresh water. So the reason I mention this is this kind of coincides with kind of the need for like petroleum or oil, which I would get from tapping oil. So I think what I want to do is maybe prepare for natural gas, but not actually dechamber this until I have the ability to keep the gas in the gas area so that it doesn't become a problem. So, you know, I don't have brine, I don't have oil, I don't have, you know, petroleum or any other much higher temperature liquid to prevent that from becoming some sort of disaster with natural gas leaking out everywhere. I mean, likely the natural gas would leak and it would go up, right, due to densities. But again, I don't really want to hit that. The other thing I could consider is getting a gas range paired with it. Gas ranges allow you to cook some of the nicer foods, right? So it refines stuffed berries, mushroom wraps, surf and turf, pepper bread, curried beans, spicy tofu, and frost burgers. But it produces a lot of heat. It requires natural gas and power. It requires a gas intake, and it does outgas carbon dioxide. So when thinking about the natural gas, once you tap it, if I can remove maybe some of this water, we could potentially put a kitchen in around here, which is really not too far away from our dining hall. Or even I could pump the natural gas from this geyser down to like a kitchen that is closer, and we can actually have like a nice kitchen paired with the natural gas geyser, which could be pretty useful. So I am working on tapping the natural gas geyser, but like realistically, I am finding oil first, as I think it is a safe prerequisite. If there frickin' is oil anywhere. Jeez. Excuse my frustration. The other path that I could try is to go... God, it's not really thick enough. This abyssalite is kind of thin in these columns. But go this way. And try to find it over here. Or to even, because this is, I mean, this is a liquid lock, but this isn't beyond our suit dock. But I could also dig just this way, straight through the slime. Although I wouldn't want to hit this geyser because that would cause a lot of heat. But try to find it over here. Yeah, oil is looking like it's not really a possibility. I'm gonna, there's still more for me to search. But yeah, you're not necessarily wrong about that. It's not looking great. Sandstone ladders here in this position is probably not a great idea. Whatever. I wonder if there's like any oil. It would be pretty crazy if there wasn't. I mean, it's doable, especially given that I have plastics through Trecos. So you're starting to maybe be able to see the temperature gradient of putting in the insulated tiles here. It's super hot in here, but it's way less cooking. It's no, you know, the water's starting to, well, it's not condensing yet, but it is dropping in temps. This commute sucks. I still don't want to back down. I want to know what's underneath this cold biome, but getting over here takes a long time. Stable's looking still pretty good. I'm surprised we haven't had any overjoyed responses yet, given all of the added morale. I don't have a recreation room, which is another thing that I could add. But yeah, I'm actually rather surprised by the lack of overjoyed. Do you guys know if Nature Reserve and Park stack? I vaguely recall reading like 15, 16 months ago, which is why it's vague, that they do not. It's one or the other, but not both. I just wanted to ask to make sure. So I think once we're at, what is this, granite? All right, once we're here, this is bleach stone, so maybe I want to leave the bleach stone alone. So I'm going to start digging, like, here. Avoiding the bleach stone so we don't have a bunch of chlorine outgas. And there, ooh, don't make me, oh. I hate when it autosaves and it makes you, like, dig stupid things. I guess we can dig into some of this salt. I wouldn't mind having salt. High quality sodium chloride. So yeah, dig over here, and then there's some sort of structure over here. So we'll, hey dude, we'll see what kind of structure there is, and then see if there's any oil on the other side of this. Because if I zoom all the way out, we know where the western edge is, right? This is the western edge. I suspect that this is pretty close to the eastern edge. So there's a lot of, like, more east for us to go and explore. And then also, I want to find the bottom. I would like to do an exhaustive search for oil. You guys voted on it. Responsibly, I maybe should check to see if that's still something that you want. So, should I keep searching downwards for oil? If not, one thing I could consider doing is to set up a liquid lock for the natural gas, and then set up like a airlock, and then lock the airlock down in the case of an outgas, or in case of an evaporation, rather. No, I don't like any of them. Because that's not, you know, too hard to do. That would allow me to set up natural gas geyser. Because one thing I could do once I tap this is I could just build a box around it like that with like a pump. Knowing that as long as the pump itself didn't overheat or the cables didn't burn out, I wouldn't really need access to it. It's not great. The reason I use so many liquid locks in everywhere is I always like the option of having access to do maintenance or changes. That way it's not, you know, permanent. Because I don't want to think about making permanent, oh, that was destructive. I don't want to think about trying to make, like, permanent installations. Because you have to do a lot more thinking if it's like, oh, this will never be changed in any way, right? That's kind of a problem, for me at least. Is there a big con to not having oil? Yeah. Yeah. I mean, there's a lot of uses for oil. So let me explain. So one very simple one is it's a very easy method to make petroleum, which then you can use as a petroleum generator. And also, when you refine oil into petroleum, it makes natural gas, which then generates power. Then you can also use the petroleum to, again, make power in a... so if you refine oil, you can make it into natural gas and a petroleum generator. So it's a really easy source of power. It's a very low-effort source of power. And then it's a very heat-intensive but lower-effort source of plastics. And plastics would be what I consider like space age, because the advantage of having a lot of plastic is it allows you to put plastic tiles in, which significantly increases duplicate run speed. It allows you to put plastic ladders in, again, for climbing speed, and then it allows you to put in transit tube setups, which very quickly moves duplicates around. Because one of the things about like endgame, oxygen not included, is to get to space, kind of takes a while. Like if you're trying to climb ladders, it takes a very long while. And then to get down takes a long while because, you know, of travel time. So plastics are... one of the biggest uses of plastics would be to help with travel time for bulk plastic. For small amounts of plastic are still used for various other things. Like, for instance, germ sensors, right? Germ sensors use plastic, or small pumps use plastic. So there's a lot of plastic usages in smaller devices, but you can usually source them from glossy Dracos, which is what I've been doing. So one of the disadvantages of not having like oil is I can't rely upon having a lot of plastic. And a lot of plastic is going to be necessary if I want to do transport tubes or, you know, other sort of high traffic, high movement setups. And also, it doesn't allow me to get petroleum or oil, which is a liquid that is far harder to boil off. So it, you know, limits my ability to do liquid locks, which is something I'm running into now, right? Without that, getting that natural gas runs like an actual risk of the natural gas boiling off any liquid that I currently have access to. Oh, okay, yeah, don't do that. Just dig. But we're in luck. It's moot. I found it. It was on the other side of the salt biome. There's a little bit of crude oil. A lot of crude oil. I'll take that back. There's a lot of crude oil. And lead. Lead is a really cheap metal to do automation wires with, because it doesn't have a lot of other purposes. So we're good. What is that? It's just really hot carbon dioxide. Okay. The question is this, is there a renewable source of it here, or is it a finite source? I mean, there are slicksters, so it's like renewable. So a slickster, if you're not aware, let me open the database entry. Eats carbon dioxide to create crude oil. I don't think it creates crude oil in enough bulk to really be called... I mean, technically it's renewable, but it's like... renewable, but slow as molasses. The same way that Dracos are renewable plastics, but like slow as molasses. And I'm also going to do a tunnel eastward as well. So if I want to hit this oil, the big bulk of the oil is down here. So I think what I'll do is dig a ladder to figure out how deep this oil goes. To try to get as, you know, to set up my pump for the oil in the lowest possible position so that I can drain all the oil to like one pump. So I don't have to just pump each individual little microsection. But man, the commute to get to here is like stupidly, it's a lot of climbing, right? It takes a while. Oh, this might be oil here too. Both paths have paid off. Very unexpected. Oh, no. Okay. When it autosave, sometimes it makes you paint stupid things, but I was okay. So, there's at least fossils down here. I bet there's oil. I bet it's tiny, though, because this is the edge of the map. But either way, I want to explore both. Oh, and what's this? Iron volcano in the middle of a frost biome? A cold biome? Yeah, that wouldn't be a problem to open up. I almost want to do it just to see the ensuing destruction of that cold biome. just have everything melt like overnight. The iron erupts once, and the whole thing just goes sploosh, and then creates like a giant puddle of steam. I mean, it actually is like a steam generator waiting to happen, to be fair. But with that said, I'm not about to go exploit it just yet. Alright, I am currently more interested in going down than over, so I'm going to prioritize the down part. Because this is the edge of the map here, and it looks like this is just a molten biome, so I will eventually want to go that way, but not yet. The other thing I could do is tap it here, just so that I can mop up a little bit of oil to be able to make the liquid lock for the natural gas. Because I don't really need a lot of oil. So this amount of oil here should be enough, allowing me to have a slickster if I want it. Because I'll probably end up... Well, there's another slickster down here. So probably... Well, I might not want slicksters, like, free to roam. Colony achievement. What did I do? Enter an oil biome for the first time. That I did. What does the flower do? It's bad. The flower's really bad. Here, let me read it for you. It takes advantage of the flower's attractiveness to lure unsuspecting victims into a cloud of parasitic zombie spores. They're a rare form of a hollow parasitic plant, which finds mammalian hosts to infect rather than usual plant species. The zombie spore was originally designed for medical purposes, but its sedative properties were never refined to the point of usefulness. So yeah, it lures mammals with a nasty brain fungus. I wonder if the encyclopedia has diseases. It's in its disease. Zombie spores. Yep. Zombie spores are a parasitic brain fungus released by sporchids. Duplicants who touch or inhale the spores become risk of infected, temporarily losing motor control. And it's not great. So if we take a look at the germs here, there's some zombie spores there. Now in their suits they would be okay. And there should be some zombie spores. I saw zombie spores over here somewhere too. Saw another spore. Oh, it's the artifact, right? The artifact has sporchids as well. It's the fungus among us. The thing is, the plant itself is very pretty. So one of the things that you'll see people do is they'll have auto sweepers be able to supply the sporchids with what they need to survive, and then they lock the sporchids behind glass as sort of like a trophy of like, I conquered sporchids, which, you know, I would consider in the future once I have glass and auto sweepers and the balls to even tap something like that. But yeah, just to know that it's doable. All right, so now that we have access to oil, let's set up a liquid lock for this honker. And I think what I'm going to do is set the... I'm going to dig this out and then set up my liquid lock a little bit higher to make use of the space. Oh, and they don't need any fertilizer? Right. So I'll tap it like around here. We also got lead, and we got some other seeds, the waterweed seeds, for the first time as well. So lead, I've mostly just used lead for non-temperature sensitive automation wires because it's already refined metal, so it doesn't have to go through metal refinery processes. It sucks for overheat, so it's really bad metal to use anywhere where temperature matters, like in space. But for all other automation wires, it's fine. It's a cheap metal. Dupes are sporchid fertilizer? Yes, I do believe that would be correct. Which is why I gotta be careful around them. Good stuff. Good stuff. Makes for good electrical wiring and most purposes as well. Yeah, yeah. For like conductive heavy watt and conductive wire and, you know, really whatever you need. I really like finding lead because it's just a cheap way of making high conductivity wires without breaking the thermal bank. I mean, the lead itself is usually pretty hot because you get lead in hot biomes, but it's not as bad as like having a metal refined for your own lead. Oh, this reminds me. How's my... Oh, Lord. We are backed up. And also, where did this water come from? I don't know. So, there is, oddly enough, no germs in any of this, but there will be germs in the first tank soon, because... this water that get backed up is going to go through it. All right, printing pod. Oh, I'll take some more mirth. And then also I get fossils, which is great because I'm going to need to smash those later on as well. So I will make a point in digging up the fossils, digging up the lead. All super, super useful materials. Where'd that slickster go? I, like, freed it. Oh, no, it's right here. Okay. I freed it, and it just, like, was like, all right, thanks, bye! And, like, bolted. Where have my... digging, execute. Okay, this is oil as well. Cool. I'm not sure where they've been working, so I'm gonna stop working in this spot for now because it's low priority. It's more hassle to get there, I think. Oh, that was weird. It like did my okay. So I got food because I backed up the water systems. I have water germs and no. Yep. Well, guess my dupes are gonna have a little bit of food poisoning, won't they? Should I bother fixing the germs in the water? Yes or no? So there's a few different ways to fix it. One, I could tepodizer. Two, I could run it through the filtration again using a temporary tank, like sticking the water here and then filtering it back. Or three, phase change it. I'm not going to phase change it because that generates way too much heat, but you could just... I mean, that's kind of what a tepodizer does. So I'll have you guys vote on that to fix my stupidity. I will have power in a second. because it looks like the hydrogen vent's about to start outgassing again. So if I do... Oh, it's already outgassing because I can see the tanks are filling back up. So if I do the tepidizer approach, at least we have power to be able to afford it. And that's why you don't want to back up your reservoirs. Food poisoning is really not a bad disease, and oxygen not included, to be fair. Yeah, as you said. It's not that big of a deal, which is why I'm voting on it, because I could just ignore it if I don't care. But it looks like you guys want to fix it anyway. And if that's the case, I would have you guys vote on the method of which I fix. So... liquid tepidizer is something I might want to research. Actually, I don't even know what that is. Carries liquid, allowing extreme temperature exchange with overlapping buildings. Ah, that's something new. I've never seen that before. Sounds like liquid auto-tuning? No, auto-tuning is not the right term. But yeah, you know what I mean. No, is it auto-tuning? I think it's called an auto-tuner. Aqua tuning. Yes. Thermo aqua tuning. Okay. Totally, I'm just making up things. Now, there's a little bit of chlorine in here. So I'm going to need to filter the natural gas, at least initially, to separate the chlorine out from the natural gas, so I don't run chlorine through my natural gas generators. Which wouldn't... I mean, it would just damage the natural gas generators, so whatever metal I make them out of, I would need to repair them. It wouldn't be all that detrimental. But I can have you vote on that anyway. Is this crowded? Not yet, but it's about to be. Sweet. They keep like robo-miners and auto sweepers from overheating in vacuum. Because yeah, I remember the last time I played, trying to set up robo-mining and auto sweeping in a vacuum for cooling was obnoxious. I mean, so hyper ridiculously difficult. So if they're not very strong, but they're just strong enough to keep vacuum machinery from cooking itself, obviously that's what they were designed for, I suppose. But that's pretty nice. So as far as I can tell, there is no oil wells here, which is mostly why I was digging down here to see if there was an oil well. But I can... my plan is to just keep exploring down here to see if it leads somewhere intriguing. Also, it will lead eventually to the petrified fossil, which is one part of the story trait puzzle. So, there's a reason to go down. But so it can't keep a metal refiner or a steam turbine from cooking? Yeah, I figured those two things produce an insane amount of heat. A lot of DTUs pumping out, so it's for light work, not heavy work. I might need to readjust my storage bins, so let me take a quick look at that. And it looks like you do want me to fix the germs in the water, so how to fix the germs, filtration, tepidizer. Which I'm just going to call it tep. So let me talk about that. Filtration, what I would do is I would just use this liquid pump, which is already pumping water to my bathrooms and all that. And I would just also have it dump to like a temporary holding area. So I think what I would do is I would just dig this out. Oops. I would dig this out bigger so it could hold more water. And then temporarily dump this water into here. And then have this pump go through the water filtration process. Maybe also improving automation. So that I have like once this hits a high threshold of like, let's say 80, it shuts off all the pumps. So it can't overfill. And then it won't ever have this problem again. So it would include, if you vote for filtration, it would include automated systems to stop this from happening again. And tepidizer are a little bit more straightforward, but it's slightly destructive, where I would stick a liquid tepidizer to raise the temperature of the water to kill off the food poisoning germs. So it's a little easier, but it would heat up the water. And then what I would do is, once I was done tepidizing it, I would get some ice and put icy temp shift plates in here to bring the water temperature back down. So the tepidizer is probably the quicker solution. The water filtration is, yeah, I don't know. Well, whatever, you decide. I don't really care. You wanted me to fix it, so you can decide how I fix it. That's what matters. God, we should have so much more plastic than this. Almost want to rename Chimmick to Ed. So Ed is always shearing. I'm sorry. Wouldn't the high water temp affect the rest of the habitable space? It would briefly, but like I said, then as soon as it was done, I would put icy temp shift plates in to fix everything. So it would suck, but like, you know, only for the duration that it has to suck. And this I have slightly forgotten, but not really. All right, so it's ready. The only thing I have to do is to make sure that I'm going to turn these bottle filter dumps off, because I don't want the oil to be automatically added as soon as we mop up oil to be like, all right, and dump. And like that would be very, very destructive. Ice temp shift plates might be able to fix the problem itself by cooling it down. What temperature does that Azure Storm? What temperature would I need to reach for that to fix? If you've done, because I've never tried to kill germs that way. But count me as intrigued if that works, because I could always add that to the poll. I didn't realize that wasn't even an option. You don't know off the top of your head, but it's not too bad. Should I try? If Azure Storm says it works, I'm going to add it. Flash poll. I'm going to take out tepidizer, because obviously you guys didn't want it, so hold on. Let me remove tep out of there. So filtration or ice plates. So do you want me to try it with ice plates instead? Kill germs with ice. Yes or no? It's up to you. Have we mopped anything yet? Oil-wise? Oh, yeah, crude oil, 5.7 kilograms. Perfect. All right, let's do it. Liquid crude oil. 9. What is going on with the shearing station? Why aren't we using it more often? I don't understand. The priorities for Chimmick is ranching, max, shearing is a ranching? Okay, well, he's literally doing it right now. But this is a ranching task, correct? And this is set to 9. The grooming is set to 6. And I just don't see him shearing all that often. Ice plates! Alright, let's do this. So, utilities, temp shift plates, made of ice. And I'm guessing I'm going to have to dig up some more ice. Raymond Moonstar, thank you for the resub. You'll have to catch YouTube? Well, hey, you know, thanks for tuning in, albeit briefly, and resubbing nonetheless. I really appreciate it. Thank you for tuning in to Oxygen Not Included, which originally streamed live on Twitch, June 29th. If you have any feedback or questions for me, let me know in the comments below. If you'd like to catch a live stream of mine, Rhadamant.com has my stream schedule and countdown timers to upcoming streams. If you would like to join my gaming community, Rhadamant.com also has a link to Discord, as does the description of this video. Thank you so very much for watching, and a special thank you to my Patreon patrons, Twitch subscribers, and viewers like you that support the channel. Hope to catch you next episode or an upcoming stream. Farewell, my fellow duplicants.